Chicago, rock and roll, Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock the city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best you're ever around.
Hey everybody, this is Paul Martin
and Ray the Roadie
for the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast. What? Are you at a religious revival, Ray?
Lord Jesus, save my soul.
Are you at a religious revival?
I sure am. You said we're going to one this week.
No.
I should leave.
Can you step out of that tent?
I'm out.
No.
Wrong revival?
Yeah, we're speaking with the band Revival.
Oh man, and I've been reading the Bible all week. I've been practicing my moves.
That's good. I mean, it's always good to read the Bible. But.
Yeah, I guess I should listen closer to you. You're closer when you're talking about what we're doing.
Yeah, it would be a good idea.
Yeah, I have a short attention span.
Yeah, how was that revival? Was that fun?
It was a ball. I had a great time.
Okay,
I've been saved.
That's good. Good. About time.
That's right. So we met with the guys from Revival the Band.
Revival the Band. With Joe, Dan, and Mike, or better known as Stu. We met with the three of them. We missed out on Doug. Doug couldn't make it, but we had a nice talk with them. Learned a little bit about some of the stuff that they do. Dan is a writer, and he's written some original stuff too. So let's see what everything all that they had to say for themselves.
Lord Jesus, let's go.
Let's go. Praise the Lord. All right, welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're speaking with the band Revival. We're speaking with Joe DiGiacomo and Dan Bay and Mike Sawicki, better known as Stu. And how you guys doing tonight?
Doing good, thanks.
Doing good.
Yep. Good deal.
Yep.
Good deal. So tell us about the band. Tell us how you got started, where you got started, and how you guys all got together.
We started about 5 years ago as a completely different band. Dan and I have been playing in bands together since the 90s, and since the 80s, actually, if you think about it. Wow, we're old. And we decided to get back together and start doing a little music together. And we started up a band. Started off Fun Guys, I think is what we started calling it. And we're having a good time. And it evolved through a different band name. We turned into, what do we call it after that? Side Effects. Right.
What was it?
And then we decided that Dan had a pretty good John Fogerty sounding voice, so we decided that we were going to do a CCR tribute band, and we came up with Revival as the name, and we sort of let the CCR tribute go and just started playing every kind of music that we wanted to play. We were reviving. We're bringing it back from the dead. So taking old rock and roll and bringing it back to life.
So what was the name before it became a Revival? I missed that. I'm sorry.
It was called Side Effects.
The Side Effects. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I'm assuming you still do some CCR, right?
Oh yeah, do a lot of CCR. We're very CCR heavy. But we found out, believe it or not, there's not a big calling for a CCR cover band. I was a little shocked to find that, but people don't realize how much CCR they know until they start hearing it.
Yeah, that's probably true. Probably
the original band, the Fun Guys. What was that? Mushroom Rock or?
No, we just always play on psychedelic mushrooms. It was pretty much different kind of music. It was more 90s rock. Wouldn't you agree with that, Dan?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay, not psychedelic.
Not psychedelic, no.
Well, I don't know. It may be individually based depending on if they had mushrooms or not, I guess.
The promo was definitely psychedelic, that's for sure.
So we're missing one guy in the band, right? Or just one guy, correct?
The bass player, yeah.
And the bass player is
It's Doug Hogue.
I'm sorry, Doug couldn't make it tonight. But so now tell me, it's now who plays what? I know Joe, you're a keyboard player, right?
That is correct. And the interesting thing about this is, Stu and I go back to the mid '90s. We were in a band together about '94, I think, called Blues on Toast.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen Stu for a long time. And we got back together on Facebook through a mutual friend of ours. And, the three of us are on Facebook from the original Blues on, well, not original, but from Blues on Toast. And a few years ago, Stu asked me about doing the CCR thing. And I kind of said, hey, there's not a whole lot of keyboard stuff for a CCR tribute band. So he's like, yeah. And I kind of suggested, having a second guitar would probably be more up the CCR vein. And so we kind of left it at that. And then I went ahead and joined Five Guys Named Mo after that. And then this year I left the Mo's, and lo and behold, Stu was looking for a keyboard player. And we decided to just kind of jam a little bit, and we kind of just said, yeah, okay, we'll go with this. And, here we are talking to you guys.
Now, how long did you play with the Mo's?
A little over a year.
And you left them when?
My last gig with them was the last day right before COVID shut us down on March 14th.
Oh, okay.
We played March 14th at Slapshots, and everything closed, I think, the next day, or was it the Monday that it closed? I don't remember. They were talking about, it was either that Sunday or Monday, and then it was it. But that was my last gig with them.
So, Dan, you and Mike, have you guys been together? The main two guys that have been with the band since the 90s, 80s?
Off and on, yeah. We were actually high school, both in a marching band, both in a jazz band. I would play guitar. He was a drummer in a jazz band. And then, back in the day, when we just went in the basement and just rocked out whatever you wanted to do. And having an old Polish lady next door throw water in on you because you're being too loud. That kind of stuff. But yeah. And then I got out of the Air Force, came back and just kind of, messing around and started a band head first back in the 90s. So, and of course, everyone thought we were a babies tribute band.
Yeah.
And we're like, no. So we just thought it was a clever name head first. So that's what we used. Didn't even think about the babies, to be honest with you. But yeah.
There were no sexual connotations there, right?
There's always a sexual connotation,
right? Head
There's
first,
always a sexual.
that's what the business card said.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
There's always a sexual connotation there.
Yeah.
But, and then for me, anyways, life got in the way, got married, had kids, and music was sort of put on hold. And after that, then, I don't know, we just sort of got back together and we're talking about maybe getting a band and doing some of the stuff that we did in the 90s. And that's where the fun guys sort of started with 90s themed stuff. So,
yeah, I spent 20 years playing with the Blues Brothers and Small Time Dave and the Windy City Groove. And it was just, it was time to do something else. And timing was perfect. Dan and I got back together and the rest is history.
Was Doug around back in those days, or is Doug a new addition?
Doug's a new guy.
Well,
yeah, we actually tried him on guitar, and we had a different bass player. We actually had Doug's actually our third bass player for this recent, band.
Well, he was our guitar player.
Yeah, right. He was originally a guitar player, and then we got tired of going through bass players just unreliable. So I was like, you know what, Doug, I'm going to switch you to bass. So I showed him kind of just basic stuff on bass, and he put a lot of work in to play the bass. And now he's just a solid bass player. So nothing flashy or anything, but he's just solid.
It's always good to have a solid bass player around.
Right, yeah.
So Mike, you sound like you've been continually playing for all these years, correct?
Well, yeah, I'm a drum whore. You know, I'll play with anybody. I've played with a lot of different people. Blues, I play with Jody No, I play with Mike Gibb, Ronnie Lass, pretty much everybody. Played, like I said, played with Small Time Dave and Windy City Groove.
Right.
Did a stint with Blues on Toast back in the 90s. So yeah, I've been all over the place. Blues on Toast was Jimmy Hood from the. That's how Joe and I got back together was through Jimmy Hood, and yeah, just
I know Jimmy.
Yeah, everybody knows Jimmy Hood.
So you said you also played with the Blues Brothers too, correct?
Correct.
How long ago? How long did you play with them?
Almost 20 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I started with them in 2001, early 2001, like January of 2001. Replaced Frankie Rago on drums and never looked back. It was a great gig.
And that would be BLUZ.
Yeah, the BLUZ brothers, not the BLOOZE brothers, which that's Chuck Little's band.
I see.
We are the BLUZ brothers. It was a great time to be a musician. I'll tell you what, especially on the south side of Chicago. I grew up on the south side of Chicago in Hegewisch, in the Northwest Indiana music scene. And back in the 80s and 90s, it was a completely different scene for music back then. Nobody helped anybody. Everybody, it was cutthroat. And for me in the 90s to come into the southwest side, Oak Lawn, Orland area, and to just have guys like Gino Martino,
Sure.
guys like him just be so helpful to up and coming bands, that I was amazed by that. I saw a side of music that I'd never seen before, and it made me appreciate other musicians before, because where I was from, you weren't friends with musicians; they were all your enemies, and it was a very bad situation because it was very cutthroat. Like I said, everybody was looking for gigs, and when there's 100 bands and 10 gigs, somebody loses. So it was so much better when I came out west, and maybe it was the times too. I don't know, but just met a lot of great people in the music scene out here, and it just made it opened up doors.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. Back in the day, I'll just say it. Back in the day, it was almost like a battle of the bands. Oh, you know, I went and saw them. We're better than them, or we can do that song or whatever just as well as they can. But I'm so glad that it's actually the tables have turned, and I mean, I would have. I used to run sound at the Blue Chip Casino, and I'd have 3 bands in there in one day. On a Saturday, I'd have 3 or 4 bands, and I'd have a bass player or a guitar player come in at the 6 o'clock spot, and he plays till 10 o'clock, and then he winds up staying and playing. He's playing a late band too, because he's just a giggy musician, and I think that's actually a great thing, It
is great. That's we actually we are striving to pay it forward or pay it back, if you will, I guess, because we had so many people help us out, and so we try to help other musicians as much as we can, younger musicians, and there's a few local bands, Amy's River, that we've helped out in the past, got them some gigs, and passed down equipment that we don't use anymore, things like that. And so it's always great to help other musicians become musicians. It doesn't have to be a fight of who's better, who's right. I mean, we're all musicians. We should all be helping each other out.
Right. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. So what does your set list include? What do you guys actually? What kind of music do you play? What kind of do you like to listen to?
Dan and I listen to everything. I mean, we're old metalheads from the back in the days. But I've done blues. I've done jazz. I've done pretty much everything. Dan's done a lot of different stuff. He writes great stuff. Guy could be a jingle writer. He could write movies for music. He's a great sound. He'd be a great soundtrack writer. We play, well, of course, the CCRs there. A lot of Hendrix, ZZ Top, pretty much anything you could think of that we like I said, the name Revival allows us to play anything we want to play or anything the audience might want to hear, I think.
You guys play any original stuff?
As a matter of fact, we just we just finished up a single, and we are going to be releasing a single. When is the date on that release, Dan?
Well, it's already released, but we're trying to make it simple for people to find it. And on this one-page website, there's a couple things wrong with it. So we don't want to point people to say, hey, go to this page and whatever platform you want to download it on is there, because it's not quite ready for that yet. So, but if you were to search for it, like on Amazon Music, it's under Revival, and the song is called Spunk. It's an instrumental. Because I had thought, why don't we just write something simple, something that sounds familiar to people, and in return for supporting the band, they can have the song, So it's 99 cents. So,
And it's on Amazon? Is it on iTunes or?
Yeah, iTunes, yeah, all the major platforms. So
okay.
Spotify, yeah.
It's definitely Satriani-esque, especially the guitar work.
Okay.
It's very Satriani-esque.
Yeah, I showed it to Ron over at the museum, and I texted it to him, and I told him that, yeah, it kind of has a Satriani feel. And the next day I saw him because I was working there doing a tile, and he's like, well, I got to be honest, yeah, you said Satriani. I was kind of like, yeah, okay, sure, because so many guys say, oh, man, we're great, we're like this or we're like that. And he's like, but I listened to it. Yeah, you're right. It has a really Satriani feel to it. And I'm like, yeah, I told you. So anyways, I don't know what he was expecting, but I guess he wasn't expecting that. But it's just, it sounds familiar, but you can't really pinpoint it to anything, one of those kind of songs. So, like I said, in return, people, they can have one of our songs and help support the band a little bit, especially in these times when there's no gigs really to be had. So,
any plans on any additional recording?
Yes. Yeah, we're working on stuff right now. So. Good. Not instrumentals. Just that was a quick one to sort of just get out there. So we're going to work on some, more kind of in the style of what we're doing, cover wise. So.
And you've written all this, Dan? You're the writer.
Yeah. I've been writing songs, man, since I was like 13 years old.
Actually, the drummer's written one.
Yeah.
We got that going for us too.
So does it have a drum solo in it?
No. It's not in
a drum solo for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Just me playing drums. I call it Moby Stew.
So you guys will go. Well, how you survive with COVID-19? First of all, have you had any gigs recently?
We had one. We live in Will County, and a place that we live, it's called Hickory Creek Brewing Company. When everything opened up partially, they had us back into play, and they had all the tables were distanced, and all this other stuff. So that was fine. And then, of course, Will County spiked in cases, so they shut everything back down again. So. And when was that gig? Oh, yeah, that's right. It was the day before my birthday. It was August 15th. That's the last time we played out. So, yeah.
Anything else lined up?
Not as of yet. So we've been streaming a lot and trying to give fans, mostly friends and family, something of us to watch. So,
yeah, it's certainly a shame right now.
Yeah,
I know it's been very limited for most bands, and although I see some bands being out there and gigging and being able to do some outdoor things at least,
Yes.
But for the most part, I know it's awful. Let's just hope and pray that next year everything comes around. And,
Yes.
And by March or April, we're starting to book some gigs for next summer.
Yeah, because even the outdoor gigs, they're going to be gone pretty soon. It's going to get mighty cold here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of tough to play at 20 below.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Chicago tough and all, but I'm not that Chicago tough.
That's right. That's right. So
And
nothing
also,
planned.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say a lot of these clubs or bars or whatever, they seem to be just hiring like the bands that they always work with. I mean, and you can't blame them. I mean, probably because they know they're going to bring in X amount of people, X amount of dollars, you know, with everything being so hard on everybody. So,
Right.
so unless you play that place a bunch of times, you're not really getting in at this point. So,
Well, they need the clientele to come in. So
yes.
if you've been there, they know you.
Right.
How far back? I mean, the name, and you give me the impression that people can call out songs and you guys will do something. Is that it, or do you work off a set list?
We work off a set list usually, and we don't. That's the one thing we try not to do. Is a lot of bands, you go see them 10 times, and you hear the same songs in the same exact order. Maybe there'll be a little bit of a difference. We write up a new set list every time we play out, and it's basically based on audience response. If we have audience responding well to a certain song, we play it more in rotation. If we have them, the song isn't going over so well, we'll either lower it in our rotation or we'll can it all together if it's not working. I mean, why keep doing something if it's not working, right?
Right.
So, yeah, every time you come see us, it's going to be something a little bit different. Hopefully that people will come see us more than once. We try to keep it a little different. You know, it's sort of hard to entertain and play music, and when you're just a 4-piece band, when you're playing in a 8-piece band, it's a lot easier to provide entertainment than it is with just 4 players, you know, because you're concentrating on the music more than you are on the actual show. We tried to put on a little bit of a show, so we tried to get it all worked in there.
You primarily play just around Will County, or do you guys venture out?
Sorry about that. We've actually played all over the place, but we do a lot of gigs in Will County. Yeah, mostly, I guess most of our stuff is in Will County. I've been trying to get out into Indiana, but since the COVID hit, none of the bars out there seem to want to, like Dan said, they don't want to book anybody but a sure thing. So maybe once the COVID is over, we'll be into Indiana and we'll be heading up into Chicago maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully they'll find a cure for this and we'll all be back playing soon. So, yeah.
That's hopefully that's for we you know, that's the last thing we want to do is be out there playing and God forbid we come down with something, but anybody in our fan base come down with something, and you know, I mean, we would feel terrible about that. So that's why when we did play Hickory Creek Brewing Company, which is a great little place to go for a beer if you're ever in the area. The distancing was great. The cleanliness was great. And the bar owner was really taking it seriously as to how he was running his own personal safety campaign against COVID. So as long as the bar owners are careful and the people are careful, I think we should be able to get back to some normalcy soon. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Definitely. Most definitely.
Let's take a time out here for a second.
Road to Rock Radio is proud to welcome Paul Martin of M&R Rush and the Dancing Noodles and Ray the Roadie, the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast. Join Paul and Ray as they bring you weekly interviews from bands that have rocked Chicago. It's the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast, Monday night at 6 on Road to Rock Radio.
So do you guys do go back to the 50s and that's the 50s music, or is it obviously just some 60s with Creed Clearwater, right?
We're gonna be working in more I don't know, 50s. I don't know. I think we go back pretty much 60s is about it. I think the oldest song we probably do is Shaken All Over by the Guess Who, maybe some of the Creedence stuff. Yeah, we don't really, 50's not so far. We did do a little Elvis for a while there. We'll probably bring some Elvis back in. So we'll be doing the 50s for sure if we bring the Elvis back in, right?
Who's your Elvis voice?
Hey, man, what are you talking about? I'm Elvis Presley.
Does everybody in the band sing?
Yes. Dan sings lead. I sing lead. We've even given Joe a few songs on lead. And Doug mainly sings backup. But everybody in the band sings, and we're working on our harmonies all the time and trying to make them sound good instead of, nobody likes to hear a bunch of cats screaming in an alley.
I think I know that group.
I know several of them.
I think we're interviewing them next week, aren't we? So what kind of drums do you use, Mike?
I am a Mapex player. I started playing Mapex when I bought my my set from John LaTrenta back in 1990, and I fell in love with it.
Except for this awesome set right here.
Well, that is a Gretsch. That's my newest acquisition. I have 8 drum sets, so I don't only play Mapex, but that's my basic kit right now. I do own 3 Mapex kits, but
good point.
Yeah. So, but yeah, John's another good guy. He's another good Chicago guy. We know all these great Chicago guys, right?
So Sabian or Zildjian?
Oh, Zildjian all the way. There's no other symbol but a Zildjian. Yeah,
what about
Zildjian paper thins and quick beat hi-hats and a ping ride all the way.
So what about you, Dan? What kind of? I see you got a strap back there behind you.
This is going to be good.
I like to make my own guitars, so or at least put pieces together. So that company out in where they at, Oregon, Warmoth. Yeah. So I'll buy necks from them because I don't know. Back in the 90s when I discovered that you have different profile necks and there's so many different combinations to choose from as well as the scale, right? The size of the frets, all this stuff. And I'm like, why am I playing stock? So I stopped and I started making my own kind of creations. So, I use, because Warmoth, they'll have a Stevie Ray Vaughan profile, which is thicker on the thumb side and thinner down low. So it's like an asymmetrical shape instead of like a deep C. And it was jumbo frets on them and stuff. But I like the Tele bodies a lot. So I have a lot of my guitars are Teles. I had this one Tele made, the shape anyways, with the tummy contour, which are never on Teles. And the forearm contour, which are never on Teles.
Right.
So,
but I wanted the comfort because the Teles, I mean, they're so thick and they start to cut into my forearm, like after a long night of playing, and starts to rub the skin pretty raw. So, so that's what I do. And like to do all kinds of different combinations of stuff. And I also like to build my own amplifiers. So,
oh, goodness, really?
What about 4 years ago, something like that? I just started reading on it and I was like, oh, I could do that. And I started building them. So yes, Stu likes to call me Frankenstein or what, not Frankenstein, but Dr. the mad scientist. That's what it is. Yeah.
Dan Frankenstein.
Yeah. Cause I'm always like, if we need something and I'm always like, why don't we just make it? So that's what I do. I'll just make something. So
you just get out your soldering gun and go to town, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So I've never been one of those guys where you got to have a 66 Strat or whatever, with my guitars and stuff. I mean, I love playing them, but I won't have a problem with crashing a headstock over a cymbal, so at a show, just because you get riled up and stuff. And, because if I break it, I can fix it. So that's what I did. That's what I do a lot of. And also I put like a Floyd Rose or a Kaler Trem on my Telecasters. So, and I think there was only one guy. Was it Joe Strummer? that would play a telly with a trem on it. So I always thought that was cool because you don't see it.
Right.
So I like to just kind of do stuff like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dan's also real good with computers, and we do live streaming, and Dan also takes care of all the computer stuff, if you will, when we do our live streams and stuff like that. So he's pretty much a genius.
So it looks like you practice at your place too, right, Dan?
Yes. Yeah, we built a room down here, soundproofed it, did double walls, did that loaded vinyl because my wife works from home. So it's Operation Don't Piss the Wife Off. Yeah. She loves the band, but not when she's working, so.
Right.
And so we tried to do the best we could. And I mean, the room's pretty much airtight, but we don't want to die in here, asphyxiate ourselves. So had to put some sort of ventilation to, move the air back and forth to exchange it. So, but yeah, for the most part, it does its job. And now that we're not really playing with amps in here anymore, we're using all headphones and just going direct in. Not too crazy about that on a guitar because, man, you really lose that feeling of the amplifier. But it sounds good on the other end. So
it's good for rehearsal, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's
so now
nice. It's like practicing in the studio. It's beautiful.
Right. Yeah. So now she only hears is Stu's drums. So
So Joe, what are you playing through? Or smashing into things?
I'm a Hammond guy by nature. I grew up on a Hammond. As a matter of fact, it's sitting right behind me here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
That's my Hammond right there. And on top of it.
Is that an M3?
Yes, it is, with a 147 Leslie.
Nice.
Which is right in the corner over here.
Did you bring that out to gigs?
No.
I was gonna say, boy, you gotta have a strong back if you're doing that.
Yeah. So what I use in the band is my Yamaha MOXF8, which is right there, and I have a Hammond XK1C, and I run that through a Behringer amp. I also have a Leslie Studio 12 that I take out, depending on the gig, that I'll run the little Hammond through the Leslie. And then the Yamaha would go through the Behringer. And then I have a Korg Kronos that's sitting on top of the big Hammond that I'll use that once in a while, depending where we're at and how much room we'll have or whatever. But I typically use the Yamaha because I really like the piano sounds out of that. Plus, it's an 88 key, so I get the full range of keys. The Kronos is only a 61 key, and I get a little tight in. It's kind of hard to do some stuff on the piano, but it has other great sounds. I mean, it's got some great brass sounds. It's got great synth sounds and stuff like that. Not that the Yamaha doesn't, but I think the Kronos may be a little better. But so yeah, that's my road gig is typically the Yamaha and the Hammond.
Very good. So before we shut down here, let me ask you what's one song that you guys always like to have in the set list that you can all agree on that you like to have it in your set list?
Only one?
For me, it would probably be Human Cannonball by Webb Wilder or American Girl by Tom Petty. Those are two that I sing. How about you, Dan?
Probably Fortunate Son.
Joe?
Of course, for me, I like Give Me Some Lovin' and Nobody But Me, but that's because I sing them.
Well, that's all right then. That's okay. Good deal.
But I have to admit though, when we first did Give Me Some Lovin', when the guys did the harmonies behind me, it was like, whoa, this is awesome. The guys had some really great harmonies for that song, so I'm pretty excited about doing that with the guys. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're all pretty excited about everything that's going on right now. It seems to be our time to get things rolling. Joe's worked in fine. We're getting some contacts through Ray Romano over at the museum. We're working at the museum, helping him out, getting that ready. Music's feeling really good again. It's feeling like it should. It feels right. and that's how music should feel.
Yeah, I know Ray has been over to the museum and helped out quite a bit. And Dan, you said you laid some tile there, correct?
Yeah, the bathroom downstairs in the basement.
It's beautiful. I saw it. It looks like a piano.
Yeah,
floor.
Right. Yeah, kind of was sticking with with that and kind of leaving some of that Art Deco flair because it was built in the 1930s, that building. So, and rock and roll. What's more to rock and roll than black and white tile? All right. So
That's right.
That's right.
So I can't wait to get over there and see what they've done with the place.
We just have to get that drum set in the bathroom upstairs and that guitar in the bathroom upstairs. That's all we got to do. Figure that out next.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So where could people find you guys on social media?
We are on Facebook, Revival Band Chicago on Facebook, and we post a lot of stuff in there. We're also on everything, all the social media outlets, if you will. You can buy our single right now on Amazon, Google, right, Dan? Google and
Google
iTunes.
Play. Yeah, all the major platforms, iTunes, Spotify. It's everywhere.
Do you have a website?
We don't have a website. We had one, but
It proved useless.
Yeah, it seemed no traffic was going there, and it was like, why pay for this if it's not even really being used? So just Facebook, and now with the streaming, we stream simultaneously to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all at the same time. So Twitch, I guess, is now, it's starting to become bigger and bigger for musicians, because for a long time it was just for gamers to live stream their playing games, which I kind of never really understood. But I guess guys that want to know how to get past a certain level or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think a very small percentage at first, it was only like 5% musicians were using, but now that's going up because they're realizing that Twitch is actually pretty friendly and good for musicians to use and full bands and stuff. So, and that's what I'm trying to avoid with the technology part is because when they say musicians, a lot of times it's just DJs just spinning records and doing their stuff, or acoustic guys or whatever, but never really full bands. Don't really see too many full bands streaming like in the same area, if you will. They'll do these things like on Zoom where they're supposedly 100 miles apart or whatever, I'm not sure how much I buy into that. But anyway, so
really do what we do, though.
Right.
It's hard.
So
thanks God we got you to do it for us.
Yeah. Right. So when we first started streaming, we were actually in a gym of this church that I belong to, and we had the big green screen behind us and everything. So we made it look like wherever we wanted to be. So when we were doing CCR stuff, we were like on the vibe. And different things like that, playing Green River while there was a Green River behind us, set of railroad tracks, whatever. So that was really cool. But now that space has since been gone. We can't use it anymore.
Yeah.
But really learned how to do the green screen stuff too. And I was like, man, this is really cool. So
there you go. Ray's got his green screen. Ray just moved to the beach now. See, he's got his green screen behind him.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Let's go back to the beach. So. It feels good.
Right.
It got warm in here all of a sudden.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you spending some time with us this evening.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Some great stuff.
We appreciate it. Thanks for the invite. So,
and hope you guys can get out there soon and start jamming and start rock and rolling.
Check out our next stream on Facebook. It's going to be a week from this Saturday, right, Dan?
Okay.
7 p.m.
All right, that's what, October 5th?
October 3rd?
First Saturday in October.
Yes, first Saturday in October, yeah.
That works.
Yeah, that's October 3rd. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us, guys.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, well, that was Joe DiGiacomo, Dan Bay, and Mike Stawicki, better known as Stu. I'm not quite why he becomes Stu, but I guess we didn't get to that, did we?
No, we didn't. But you know what? They were as much fun as that revival I went to.
Yeah, yes. Well, now you've been saved twice this week.
I have been saved twice.
At your revival and at the hands of the band revival.
That's right. The hands of the band.
So it was fun talking with those guys. They're obviously tied down by this COVID thing too.
Yeah, just like everybody else.
Just like most other bands are, and but hopefully, let's pray that we get
Hallelujah.
that this ends soon and we get moving.
That's right. And you know what? This Saturday, you can catch them live streaming on their Facebook page. So make sure you check them out.
That's right.
Revival the Band on Facebook.
That's right. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. We'll see you then.
Another exciting interview.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, pretty good one this time.
Yeah.
We can't tell them who yet, though.
No.
We have to leave you in suspense.
No, it'll probably confuse me.
Yeah. Yeah, you seem to get confused lately. But now that you've been saved, maybe you're good.
Maybe. May I have an open mind.
That's right. All right. Thank you much, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music that's played on this podcast.
The music is used to promote the band or musicians that are interviewed.
Rock and roll Chicago, rock and roll Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, going to Rocket City, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best you're ever around. You don't believe me, baby?